Wednesday, my dude.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Punch Up Pod with Lila and Pat. Happy Wednesday, my dudes.
My dudes, I am so happy to be here drinking beer, talking about politics. I heard there were some emails released today. That might be fun to get into.
Me too, Pat.
Yeah.
I know this is a silly question, but are we live? Because my StreamYard's going slowly. Remind me of like our second or third show.
We're not live.
Look at that.
We're not live.
Want to do it again?
That's so weird. It played the whole intro too. Why would it even do that?
It is Wednesday, my dude.
Well, they saw us twice. Groundhog
Deja
Day.
vu all over again.
Let's do it again. One more time.
To the Punch Up Pod with Lila and Pat. That's so funny. We're seeing in the comments that you were seeing us, but all of the indications on StreamYard were saying that we still had to click more buttons and like the normal timer wasn't there. So anyway.
It was 100% StreamYard for that mistake. 100%.
And I'm going to blame them on every memory blip and inability to grasp onto a word vocabulary or articulate what I want to say. It's all StreamYard. You know, it just does kind of. Well, how are you? First of all, cheers.
How am I? Oh, cheers. I'm good. My boss is on vacation in Puerto Rico.
Nice. Spread that COVID.
So he's going to come back with his 28th COVID infection, I'm sure. But because of that, I'm kind of setting my own schedule, so I'm taking it easy. I'm doing side work. I got some.
I mean, I was going to say you've been working nonstop, but just a slightly different. It's different when you're not working for the boss when the boss is right there. It just has a different vibe.
Yeah, I mean, we have a good relationship because we were friends before I started working with him. But but side work, you know, I make more money on the side work than work for him. So I'm stoked to do it.
Get that side work. I might move up to Sacramento and ask you.
Need some side.
If you need a side hustle. All right, let's just take care of the notes from the office. Please make sure to like and subscribe and smash that notification bell, please. Thank you, and thank you all for sharing and comments and all of that. It really is huge for us. So thank you. There is so much going on, and I feel like that's the system working exactly the way it's meant to. So, you know, like we spent a ton of time dealing for prep on the cave of the Democrats, which we'll still get to. And then, of course, there's the whole former terrorist at the White House and the disastrous Trump interview with Laura Ingraham. And then, there's the email dump of Epstein emails. It's just like, this has got to be purposeful, intentionally, because there's any one of these things we could delve into for a month. And instead it's like they all happened yesterday and today.
It's chaos out there. And, you know, none of it is good. I mean, it's good that maybe we're going to get dirt on Trump, but what are we going to, Democrats wouldn't use it.
They could have used it when it mattered, and now it doesn't matter. Jesus. I know we're going to get to all of that. Yeah. And then we're like, our cheers is regarding ICE in Chicago, I think. But like, that also is, you know, we have basically like the feds infiltrating blue cities and patterning the way they treat US citizens and possible immigrants who are here either legally or illegally, modeling them after the IDF. So we basically have like Gestapo. That's also, that could be like a year-long conversation. Like, it's just the assault is sort of overwhelming with everything that's happening. So we will not be able to get to everything today, but we will do our best to kind of attack some of the most
and by the time tomorrow runs around, you know, we got a whole nother show tomorrow. So whatever we learned today about Epstein that we miss, we'll probably get into that part tomorrow.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so this is cheers to James Clock in Chicago, who is putting his 3D printer to wonderful use.
3 blocks from my home, ICE has deployed tear gas a week and a half ago. The same day, I saw a social media post that said, if you have a 3D printer, consider printing whistles. So I downloaded a couple different whistle files, and I found one that I liked the best. And now I've printed over 600 of these CTU logoed whistles. I added the CTU logo myself. 115 decibels, very, very loud. I've handed out a few hundred at school to my teachers and my students. And I have students who've said they're going to take them home and give them to their parents so that we can help blow the whistle on ICE. I'm printing whistles in batches of 48. That takes 12 hours. So I'll set one up right before I go to work, and I'll set another one up right after dinner. If you've got a 3D printer yourself, it's so inexpensive, and it's really been rewarding giving whistles out. Everyone I've done this with has said, oh, thank you so much. I'm definitely going to carry this. I'm definitely going to use this. It's a way to create solidarity with our neighbors. It's a way to help protect our neighbors and protect our neighborhoods and each other. The only people that are going to keep us safe are ourselves, each other. And that requires solidarity within our communities. That requires solidarity within our workplaces. That requires solidarity with our friends and neighbors. We keep us safe.
I love that. We keep us safe. And Chicago Teachers Union is a formidable organization. They're really militant. They do great organizing and actions, and good for them. That's huge. They're pepper spraying babies. They're kidnapping babies. They're taking parents out of their cars and then driving away with babies in the back. One baby was returned today with bruises, a dirty diaper, and rashes. Had been just missing for hours. Nobody could track the baby.
Yeah, and I mean, it's disgusting. I think we should make this whistle thing extend beyond just like they're in the neighborhood. I think we should shame every time you see a politician, let them hear a fucking whistle just screaming at them constantly.
Pat, that's a brilliant idea. I love constantly.
That. This makes me want, like, I don't know why I don't have a 3D printer. I've literally trained in how to 3D model.
Yeah.
For production. I need to get a 3D printer and start doing this shit. Because I love that he's doing that.
That is a great idea. And I also love the way he talks about it, because the more people hear those words, the solidarity, we take care, like we can't wait around for politicians. We take care of ourselves. We take care of us. Like that vocabulary, that militant vocabulary for the working class, that is really important. Pat, I'm going to throw it in here now because you might not get another one.
Let's go.
Oh, geez. You got 2 in a row. Come on.
Hey, and I have a new webcam. I just want, the next purchase is going to be a printer. I'm going to get a 3D printer for sure.
Right.
But Strike tried to kill our show by eating through my webcam.
I'm glad she didn't electrocute herself. I was actually nervous about that. But
so I have recovered. I'll fix the tint. I don't know. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, this is so cool. The Lefty Bookstore over the weekend where they were distributing free whistles. That's awesome, Mary. I love that. I love that. Yeah. The baby thing, just unbelievable. I mean, it's not unbelievable. They what they do, like helicopter into a high rise and evacuate a whole building in the middle of the night with children, like either naked or barely wearing anything, wearing their diapers in the middle of the night. just forcing them to stand outside while their building was raided. I mean, it's a
And these
horror show.
that are not in any sense of violent risk, and you're bringing in like SWAT teams, like the old Blues Brother movie with the Illinois Nazis, and they're just, you know, hut, and they got
Yep.
kicking in windows, like for what? To get like 4 people that are here without documents who are probably complying with our immigration authorities already.
I mean, that's where they're mostly getting people, while they're sleeping in bed or when they are showing up to their ICE appointments or they're teaching a kindergarten. I mean, it's
right, because they just want numbers, and those are the easiest numbers. Oh, we know where these people live because they're cooperating with our fucking immigration attorneys.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, they're the most surveilled people, but you know, now we're hearing they're not showing up for doctor's appointments, for, you know, immigration appointments. There was a father and son, I think they owned a jewelry store, who were robbed and killed in a Chicago community. Nobody called 911 when they heard the gunfire because they were afraid that they were going to be taken in or that their neighbors would get taken in by ICE. So like, it's, you know, if you're trying to make your community safer, which is the supposed, you know, they're stealing our jobs and they're raping our babies or whatever, that's not happening either. Like, I mean, you know, not that we normally would suggest
Right.
calling 911, but if people are like robbing a store with guns and whatever, that might be a situation where you would want to. This father and son lay there in their jewelry store dead for hours because nobody wanted to call 911.
It's really tragic, and we need to, you know, as we've mentioned before, I mean, we both support defunding the police, and that's offshoring a lot of these roles to other groups so that you can, there you go,
You
because
didn't
you
even
want to
plan
trust,
that.
you want your citizens to trust the police. You know, you want the right department to be called when you need,
Yeah.
you know, you need someone with guns, you want to be able to call that department. But who would call an army of fucking M16 holding,
Yeah.
tank driving motherfuckers for something you hear down the street? You know, I mean, I only have my current example of, like, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, hit and run in my alley. I was like, I don't know what to do. I saw this guy get hit by his girlfriend, ran him over with her car. I heard the thump. I came out with my camera,
I'm kidding.
filmed her driving off, and I'm like, but the guy had a punctured lung. He couldn't breathe, you know.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was, they're huffing, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I'm gonna call the cops here. I call the cops, they don't want to do anything. I had to fight with police force for over an hour to get this guy medical treatment. And they didn't want to see the video I had of the car driving off.
That's insane. Yeah, there should be I'm seeing so many very sweet comments in the chat. That's very kind of all of you. Thank you. It's really good lighting. I have tons of good lighting on myself. There should be a separate number. There should be like an emergency vehicle number, a fire number, and a cop number. And I feel like we could all learn those 3, right?
Yeah, and we can't let them redefine what we want when we say defund the police. We have to clarify what it is. Like, even in the case of Mamdani, they try to make it seem like, well, what about domestic violence? You know, and he specifically has laid out which groups would handle what stuff, and he's said over and over again, we're not going to send negotiators to domestic violence situation. You know, he said he's taken their talking point off the table, but they just still use it over and over because nobody checks the media on this stuff.
Yeah, they're just so complicit and gross. And actually, I just saw, and we didn't pull it because even though we're talking this first 15 minutes about ICE, we aren't really doing a section on it today, but there were cops who just arrested, and I don't know if this was in LA or in Chicago, some ICE, you know, buffoon who was just pointing his weapon at a woman, telling her to get out of the car. Or no, she was filming him, which is legal. And the cop arrested the ICE guy.
More of that. Let's do it.
I mean,
we need this clash to happen.
Let them fight.
Right.
Let them fight. Okay, let's have a moment of fun, and then we will go to this amazing 12D chess move by the brilliant Democrats. Good Lord. Okay, sorry. I'm just putting everything where it belongs here.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. You always manage to land on drinks first time. I appreciate that.
I don't know. It's like whether I need it or not. The wheel
The
is
gods.
speaking to me. I'm going to fill up, but let me just.
Yeah, baby.
Wholesome. How did Wholesome get in there?
I thought you said we had one wholesome.
We do, but I made sure it wasn't actually wholesome. So here you go.
It's Pepe's become kind of a symbol.
You got it. You've already done it 3 times.
You got it, kid. You got this.
No.
I'm okay.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Whoa!
Sit up straight. There. Okay. No. Oh.
Lila's hating it.
Oh my God. I am going to become like, all cops are bad, or, like I am going to call Child Protective Services on most of those parents. What the hell? Like, heads are precious and necks can snap. What is going on?
Hey,
That's
come on.
insane.
I had so many head injuries as a kid. You have no idea.
Well, Pat,
And look at how
kind of
I
have an
turned-
idea. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. No, but seriously, like, oh my God. Oof. Yeah, the only one I really liked was the one where the kid was celebrating. You don't celebrate. And then the thing falls over on him on the
little
head.
karma. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God, that's crazy. That actually it made my stomach hurt, some of those.
You were in pain. I see. You guys can't see it, but I'm watching Lila backstage. Her reactions to all this stuff. She's like, she's like, oh, I wish I had screened this before we played it.
No. I mean, I get it. I like it, but I was always the one at the birthday parties, whether it was my kid's birthday party or not, that was like screaming at kids in the bouncy house who were going to like jump on each other's heads or, lying down there, and their parents were just like off. I was just like the monitor.
I get it. And I was the kid bleeding with the swollen head from hitting the sign, or a girl hitting me in the head with a baseball bat, or hitting a tree at 100 miles an hour on a sled.
But like, yeah, those can end so badly. And my kids were always at the emergency room, split open heads, both of them, knocked out 2 front teeth, their adult teeth. Both of them, broken wrist, broken arm, I mean, like, that's, but
living the life.
That's like, there's a difference between that and like putting your kid in a laundry basket and sending her down the stairs. I mean, Jesus.
That was my favorite. You got this. You got this. Sorry, I enjoyed that too much.
Like, seriously.
It's cruel. I get it. All right, let's get on to the news.
PTSD for sure. All right. But that was good. Okay. I know. And then there is also that, like, there's just a lot going on in the world. And sometimes, like, when it says wholesome, I'm like, oh, we're going to watch some really pretty Zen thing. And instead it's making me more nauseous. All right. Well, you got to hand it to the Democrats. They had no idea what they were doing. And they decided last minute, 43 days ago or 44 days ago, that the shutdown, it wasn't going to be about ICE. It wasn't going to be about extrajudicial assassinations in the Caribbean. It wasn't going to be about tariffs. It wasn't going to be the emoluments clause. It wasn't going to be Epstein. It wasn't going to be anything holding the government to account. It was going to be, let's make sure we keep passing taxpayer money to the health insurance industry because we care about health. this is a glimpse, just as a reminder, of Chuck Schumer showing what a fighter he was on October 8th.
So now we're in a government shutdown. And you may be asking yourself, how the hell did we get here? Donald Trump and the Republican Party are hell-bent on taking healthcare away from 60 million people, closing community clinics, rural hospitals, nursing homes, all so they can keep giving tax breaks to their billionaire friends. It's a disgrace. So Democrats have 3 words for this. No fucking way. It's literally.
Did you hear that, everybody? Oh, you're muted.
Yes, fucking way.
Of
I
course,
mean, what the
fucking
fuck?
way.
And who decided to put that video out? You're not going to make Schumer look hip with these little start-stop walking in
talk and
different
walks.
scene thing.
It's very Zoran.
Okay, here's what we need. You're going to have to waddle like your diapers are full. Do a little of that, and then we'll turn and shoot you from the other side. What the fuck? Come on.
And then to have that, I mean, it's not like that was from 10 years ago. And Nancy Pelosi fighting for Medicare for all in the 90s or whatever, universal health care. And then, realizing 20 years later, that was 40 days ago. No fucking way. No fucking way. So they caved. There was the Gang of 8. And they are still insisting that they're fighting for us. And there are 4 or 5. Wait, this is where it is. Yeah, sorry. We'll go and we can talk about who the people are. But there are like 6 different paths that people are taking in trying to cope with what Democrats have just done. So the first is blame Schumer, which fine, blame Schumer. I mean, of course, blame Schumer. But it's not that he can't keep his caucus together.
Right.
Right? Like that's what they're saying. They're saying, oh, he's not a good leader because he can't keep his caucus together. No, they were conferring with him.
Yeah.
They didn't do it without his blessing.
At the end of the day, this whole thing is the rotating villain, and these 8 just stepped up. That's it. Yeah. They stepped up for him to end it because they wanted to end it. He strategically wanted to end this.
100%. It was all people who are either retiring or not up for re-election for quite some time. And they're all people who have taken quite a bit of money from the airline industry, the same industry who got the COVID protection of staying home for 10 days after a positive COVID test, reduced to 5. Because why not? What better place than in an airplane trapped with 300 other people where the air barely circulates?
Yeah, great job. I noticed their spokesman seems to be, from what I've seen, Tim Kaine is the one out there the most speaking on this issue. And he's getting cut up left and right. But the other guy is Fetterman. Fetterman's out there a little bit on it. But Tim Kaine, I think, like the people who still think Tim Kaine's a good guy are stuck in Hillary trauma from 2016.
I mean, entirely. And we will cover some of them who are now saying that this was actually a win. This was a win.
Yeah, I want to get to that.
Yeah. But no, Tim Kaine is very, Kaine said, while only 8 Democrats voted with Republicans, more wanted to see the shutdown end. I can tell you this, there were a lot more than 8 that were really happy that the 8 of us voted them the way they did. But I'm not going to put words in anybody's mouth. And of course, this was from the American Prospect last week, actually on the 8th. Schumer was more involved than reported with the attempted cave on the government shutdown. So this was last, I think, Thursday. The Gang of 8 Senate Dems had his approval and he was getting daily updates. The cave almost happened Thursday after the election. So listen, first of all.
Well, it's so strategic, Yeah. It is like, here are the 8 people that can end this for us without too much blowback. We'll get through it.
Right. Let's win the election because the whole country was behind Democrats, feeling like they are fighting. We hate the Republicans. Democratic strategy on this as lame and cobbled together and last minute as their whole, we have to give more subsidies to the health insurance industry. Reason was for shutting down the government was at least something in the face of, this despotic administration. They had a huge sweep on last Tuesday. And then I think part of what happened was Trump, who's a total buffoon, starts putting things out like this. I'm recommending to Senate Republicans that the hundreds of billions of dollars currently being sent to money-sucking insurance companies in order to save the bad health care provided by Obamacare be sent directly to the people so that they can purchase their own much better health care and have money left over. In other words, take from the big bad insurance companies, give it to the people, and terminate per dollar spent the worst healthcare anywhere in the world, Obamacare. Unrelated, we must still terminate the filibuster. Two things that the Democrats definitely do not want to happen. Oh, you're muted again.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. I think there's more to it though. Like, I mean, there's that. But look, if the Democrats were fighting and wanted, you know, we knew this is all going to be symbolic, right? They're not going to win anything real at the end of the day.
Right.
But to me, all this theater, I think they were doing too well. I truly think they were doing too well with the public. And they were like, we got to shut this down or the expectations are going to be there. Because we were on the verge of the Supreme Court ruling on Trump being able to starve kids, basically, right?
Yep.
So why would you not wait for that to play out when it's days away? You would like that. If you want a political win, at least you end it and say, look, this guy did this. He went to court. They fought it at the Supreme Court all the way. It's a different outcome than now he's going to just provide the snap.
Right.
You know, like, I don't know. It's just dumb intentionally because they know this. They knew this was coming.
Exactly. They knew it was coming. And I do think that, well, I think also that the threat of the filibuster possibly being suspended, even though, I mean, Republicans also, most of them don't want that. That's a great excuse. It's like even better than the parliamentarian to blame why you can never do anything. Democrats can never do anything. When they're out of power, of course they can't do anything. Yeah. When they're in power, there's always just the right number. Even Obama with his 60, you know, when he had his supermajority at the beginning, well, there was Lieberman and then Rahm Emanuel and his ear, you know, it's like there's always a reason. We know that. Nobody should think, and I know nobody here does, but to hear the spin coming. So right away, Chuck Schumer says that he voted against opening the government. So that makes him look bad either which way he wants to have it. Either he didn't know what his caucus was doing, which is a lie, or he did and he's lying. So like either way, it makes him look pathetic. But we know that actually he's not pathetic. He's doing exactly what he is put there to do, right? So like that's the level of it that just drives me crazy. I never want to hear about Dems being cowards or feckless. They are not. They're just Republicans with a slightly better messaging strategy to get us the exact same shitty results.
And how many days? 40?
42. I think it was 42. Longest
42?
shutdown in history.
42 days of not providing this coverage. Nothing changing at the end of it. The only thing that changed is they claim they negotiated repaying the people that didn't get paid during this thing. Like that wasn't going to happen. You know, the federal employees who weren't getting paid, but that every shutdown in history, they end up getting paid. So that was going to be happening.
Right.
So what are you arguing the compromise in this? What was the outcome of this? Like
Lawrence O'Donnell gave like a 16-minute diatribe speech yesterday. And I cut like a minute and a half of it or whatever. But it's not even worth listening to because that's exactly what he says. That's what they negotiated. That's what they got. And he's like, so it wasn't everything they wanted, but it was something. But the truth is, if that's all they were going to get,
never had a shutdown,
then don't have a shut. Yeah. It's like, well, what? You're putting it. But so we had 42 days of people not getting SNAP benefits, not getting paid, the airlines disaster, people terrified. Of course, as someone mentioned in the comments, ICE still getting paid. You know, extrajudicial assassination still happening, you know, the fucking genocide still going on without missing a beat in the middle of the fake ceasefire. But the people who weren't getting paid will now probably mostly get paid if they didn't leave to find other jobs. So it's worse than if you just had done nothing.
Well, you got to realize in a month or two, they must bring this healthcare subsidy bill to a vote. It's a vote they're going to lose, so that's irrelevant. You lost it all. Everybody knows that vote is not going to go in the Democrats' favor. So you did this fight for nothing. Politically, it's not a winner. It's pretty much a wash now. Which side gets blamed on this? You were on the verge of making it clearly Republican with Trump fighting to not feed kids SNAP.
Yep.
Give them SNAP benefits.
Yep.
So,
I mean, they're monstrous. And the crazy thing is like, then they have, it reminds me of like the fight for 15, which was never enough anyway. But like, once, it's the manufacturing consent idea, right? That they changed the parameters. So we're fighting for a minimum wage that isn't sufficient, and we still don't get it. So now we have to be mad at the people who aren't giving it to us, or the people who didn't do the right things for something that isn't enough in the first place. On this, people are so mad at Democrats right now for not fighting for subsidies to the health insurance company. And so that is the argument that's happening right now. Like, some of the normie Dems are really furious, and whatever, they think feckless Dems and Chuck Schumer is not strong enough and blah, blah. He's plenty strong. He's just not working for you. All that we know. But the conversation is now about Obamacare subsidies instead of universal single payer healthcare.
yeah,
And that's
exactly.
what we're all angry about.
That's what they wanted. And that's where they want it.
Yeah.
They want libs thinking better things are not possible, but we can stop it from getting much, much worse if you just vote Democrat.
And you can't, actually. You can't. Like, none of that actually, nothing gets better. Like, what got better? 2 Fs. Yes, thank you. Cheers. And thank you so much. That's so nice. Oh my
2
God.
Fs. I'm giving one goes to Schumer. Who's he getting the other one today? I don't know.
Dick Durbin. I mean, there's so many.
Trump?
Dick Durbin, Jeffries, there's Tim Kaine.
Let's show some of these fuckers talk about that.
All right.
What do we got?
What do we got? Sorry, I got to put this back on.
I mean, Roe was actually the closest to correct. If we should maybe show Roe.
All right.
You've called on Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer to step aside. You say he's no longer effective as a leader. Explain this for our viewers, because he did vote against this compromise that you oppose. Why are you mad at him?
Jake, you've covered politics a long time. Yes, he voted no, but 8 senators who said they consulted him daily go and vote yes. One of those people is his number 2. He's not going to do that without Senator Schumer's sign off. And then conveniently, all 8 of those senators aren't up for re-election in 2026. This is the D.C. way. Senator Schumer could have blocked this if he had wanted to. And one of the challenges is, in addition to the healthcare premium spikes, it undermines the narrative that this was a Trump shutdown. If 8 Democratic senators could have ended it, we should have kept the pressure on.
So, I mean, I agree. He absolutely should step down. And I think, Bernie was getting a bit of pushback today because he was asked, everybody's mad, especially people who seem not to understand politics. Like, once you understand the through line, which I think we all do, then none of this is surprising. And you're not like, how could they cave? They were doing so well. It's like, no, because they're working for the same people and they can't do that well. Like, they can't do that. So once we know that, so then whether or not, and so when he was asked by, I think, Jake Tapper, why aren't you calling for Schumer to step down? He was like, I'm more interested in if people want Medicare for all and a living wage, and which is true. It's like saying, oh, we just need young people. Let's get the gerontocracy out. I mean, yes, sort of. I don't want people passing out or on, dementia medication while they're taking votes in the Senate. But I would rather have Bernie than Pete Buttigieg, right? So it's not young or old. It's about the policy, which was Bernie's point. You can get rid of Chuck Schumer, but if you replace him with the younger version, that's not helping anybody get out of this, right?
Yeah, we don't need a young Nancy Pelosi,
Right.
which we probably have an AOC. Honestly,
That's
give it
what
a
we're gonna
couple
get.
years,
Yeah.
but
That's exactly.
we don't. That's it. I don't care about the age at all. Just,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're mentally fit, I don't give a shit. But you're the stagnation with these old folks that don't get that. They don't. There is a point where you're so old that you're detached from the reality of young people. And I think that's where we're at with young people. Like, we don't have a future. Young people, I'm putting myself in there, but younger people,
Yeah.
you know, healthcare, rent, food, like the future is bleak for young people. So even for that reason, we got to get a lot of these old folks out of there, honestly. Like, they need some representation in this fight.
Yeah, I mean, they do. And then also, I think they need, that's the other thing. Christine Pelosi, she blocked me years ago on Twitter, which is so funny. But Pat, look at you.
Breach.
I agree. But I also think that, yes, young people, but also working class people.
Right.
They are so underrepresented, or at least, and again, like, then you get the people who are like, oh, Bernie has $1 million. We're like, yeah, I don't care. Like, class traders then, like, but people who are focused on the working class.
But that's the problem when you have Ro Khanna out here being the loudest Democrat on this issue. Is he's the most corrupt. He's made more money off of stock deals than anyone in Congress, Pelosi included. He's rich as fuck. Yeah. Is he a class trader? Not so much. I mean, a little bit, but
I mean, he's better than a lot of them, but I mean, and that's the other thing, right? It's like the Overton window has been moved so far to the right because of our politicians, not the people. I know we talk about this all the time, but like, everybody in power is so far to the right of what a normal democratic country should look like that they have convinced the, MSNBC crowd that that's the best you can hope for, is paying insurance companies, it's going to increase by, I think, 200 or 300% for some people. It's outrageous. And then they deny your claims anyway. It's outrageous. This is Jeffries. Hakeem.
Was it the shutdown worth it?
We have waged a battle on behalf of the American people. First of all, Donald Trump and Republicans are the ones who shut the government down. They have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And the American people know it. And that's been the case for 7 consecutive weeks.
But, at the end of the day, you didn't get what you want. So was it worth waging this fight?
At the end of the day, the fight lives on.
That's what they always say. That's what union leaders always say when they want you to cave, when they want you to, sign off, vote their way on the strike, is we live to see another day. And you know what? It always gets worse.
They live to fight for those subsidies that are barely a fraction of, they're not improving anyone's lives. They're just, maintaining what we already agreed to before the big, beautiful bill bullshit. And they're going to fight for that. The fight continues in 30 days when they lose that vote, because it's baked into the equation that you lose that vote.
Yep.
So no, nobody buys this bullshit.
I mean, it is truly, I'm just looking at all the, stuff about Hakeem Jeffries. He's just, truly despicable. And to say we live to fight another day. No, now you're done. You've got Trump calling you pussies and losers, taking a victory lap when just
Lila?
Yeah. Did I just freeze?
You froze when you said victory lap. For me, I don't know. Did anyone else? You froze on that.
Sorry. I saw it spin for a second. He was blaming Republicans and the shutdown. Even Trump was like, so we know that, right?
It was such an easy war to win. And I'm telling you, the Supreme Court fight, 3 days of if you had a Democratic Party that's out there, he's trying to not feed kids for 3 fucking days. That's all you need. And they have to feed the kids. You could do that now still, you know. And Jeffries, just to remind people who Jeffries was, he was just a normal sort of congressperson. And then he made his claim to fame going on TV saying that Bernie was wholly owned by NRA.
God, I forgot
Jeffries, Bernie was wholly owned by the NRA. That's who he is. So he's a guy who'll say whatever they fucking want him.
Yeah. And also, you know, even just like the SNAP benefit thing, it's sort of like the, you know, fight to get the subsidies to the health insurance companies. Because why are people on SNAP? Let's look at the biggest employers in this country and why and who has the most employees who are on SNAP, who need SNAP benefits. Call them out. Walmart, Amazon, McDonald's, whatever the rest of them are, right? Call them all out because, you know, again, like I know we talk about this all the time, but why is any business allowed to prosper and also get government subsidies to build their businesses while they are paying people poverty wages? So let's get, like, we shouldn't even have to have SNAP. Call out those greedy CEOs, like do something.
Of course, when it comes to the employed section of people who get SNAP, it's ridiculous. We're subsidizing Walmart to come in and give our cities some jobs. And those jobs, everyone working there needs to be subsidized by us some more.
Yep.
And then we're going to complain and villainize those people that are subsidized who are taking the SNAP benefits that needed to exist because the damn employer who came to town and put out the regular jobs that were paying enough, they don't pay enough. So, you know, what do you want? We have to feed people. And if you're mad about anybody getting food money, fuck you entirely. I want you to die.
Yeah. Because that's what they want. I mean, we really have to be so clear on that energy. They hate us and they want us to die. Clearly. That's why they don't care about the climate. That's why they don't care about reinfecting us repeatedly with a brain damaging, organ damaging virus. That's why they are funding a genocide, assassinating people who they claim are terrorists. That's why they're telling all of us that we're terrorists. That's why they've got ICE in all the cities. They want us to die. And so unless the party of opposition brings that same energy, if they're talking about, no, we just need more subsidies we don't need health insurance.
We need health care. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you said, sorry to divert us again, but you said they're giving us brain damage. Said that's why I'm giving myself brain damage with Mind Haze, Cosmic Crusher, 9.5%, baby.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's go. That's good, Pat.
So we're in charge. I'm in charge of my brain damage. That's all I'm saying here.
That's right. I like that. We save us.
Yes.
All right, let's see some more. Here is, I mean, it's all just gonna, you know, make you vomit, but just to take a pulse on what's happening in the corporate news sphere, lol. Here's CNN.
But I also think if you look at Tuesday, when you look at Mikey Sherrill, you look at Abigail Spanberger, I mean, these are moderate Democrats who I would argue are the model who will be successful in a lot of these swing districts, purple states in 2026 and then beyond as we go into the presidential. So there's no question there's energy in the base of the Democratic Party. They want to see a fight. But I don't know that I would argue that necessarily means that, you know, from a policy perspective, the party is going to veer hard left. I actually think the success in the party, you're seeing that in the Spanbergers.
I was just going to say, look who overperformed Kamala Harris. Moderates like Abigail Spanberger and Mikey Sherrill. Look who underperformed Kamala Harris, a progressive socialist like Zohan Mamdani. Yeah. So the point is that the adult in the room voter, right? And Democrats have been campaigning as, hey, we're not going to always play pot. You have to live by that if you're actually campaigning for it. That, hey, Democrats are saying, he's only looking out for his interests or his governance. You've got to actually, at a moment, hey, I'm willing not to listen to my base every once in a while to do this. I think in the long term, these guys have done the party a favor, but the real problem is they have no leader. Bill Clinton and Barack Obama would be messaging this as a win, not a loss.
Yeah.
And Lulu, you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And the only thing I'll say is that I wish everyone wouldn't mistake moderates for having a lack of ideas and defending the status quo. Unfortunately, I think that has now become some kind of weird conflation here, where it's like moderates mean, that they're some kind of like Biden clone. What the Democratic Party needs is people with fresh ideas who push it forward. It doesn't mean that it has to come from the socialist or the far left wing of the party, but it definitely cannot be, we are defending the status quo, we're going back to what it was before. And I think that unfortunately is something that they still haven't learned.
How much are these absolute monsters paid to sit there and say, don't trust they have to not listen to their base every once in a while. They never do. Or the adult in the room voter. Like, it's all
it's such nonsense, and that whole panel is just shitlib central. Like, they're all just paid to lie, and they all know it. Her coming out with this line about, I don't like how they conflate moderate with not having
ideas.
Give me a moderate idea. What's a fucking moderate idea? What's a moderate program? Like, what is that? Like, just to reinstate the feeding of the people through SNAP? Like, that would be your moderate bill.
Yeah.
Let's reinstate the food that we used to give to kids last week. That's your moderate idea. So if you think the country needs change, the moderate idea is just like undoing some of what Trump did. That's it. And they have
no platform that stands on its own. It's always just in response to the far right, which is why the ratchet effect always happens. They don't have any ideas. I mean, they do. Their ideas are to support whatever their donors want and to make sure that their donors keep, stealing all of our money and resources and working us to death. I mean, to get on there and say those words right now, while this country is in such economic despair because of, I don't like calling them moderates because they're actually radically right wing to believe that we need a market-based healthcare system or food system or housing system that leads to starvation, homelessness, mass disability, and death. Like, that's not moderate.
I would like someone on a panel when they discuss this to say, give me a moderate idea. Can we hear your moderate idea? What is your moderate idea? Please.
And they would say, what?
What would what would they say? Like, these are not challenging questions if you're a journalist and you're interviewing a panel of people.
Yep.
But they're all just sycophants for the Democratic Party or the establishment, one way or another. But if you're 2 or 3 alleged Democrats on the panel are there and they're all shitting on fucking progressives and shitting on Mandami and shitting on socialism and shitting on everything, and Trump, they're trumpeting moderation with no there's no. These are the panels where it looks like there's debate, but there is no debate.
Exactly. Well, and the thing that's really gross is just a couple weeks ago that Kate Bedingfield strike, who was, one of Biden's re-election staff person or part of his campaign staff and part of his administration. She was basically telling people, get in line for Mamdani. Like, he's not that scary. Now she's right back where they need her, saying the adults in the room, moderates have ideas. Look around you. This is what moderation got us, people. Like, truly, what are the biggest Democratic accomplishments in the 21st century? A Heritage Foundation far-right health insurance giveaway, handing the reins of power to Trump twice in 8 years, and a genocide. What else? Like, what have they done?
Well, and everybody, I don't think most of the people that are, our normie Dem friends, they're not excited about the proud Democrat moniker that you used to see on people's Twitters, it's all just people that are phony fucking establishment people now, because there aren't proud Democrats. The real people you know in life, even if they're like shitlib centrists themselves, they're not proud.
Yeah.
Like, this party doesn't stand for fucking anything. They've let all this happen in front of us right now.
Yep.
They led to this moment where ICE is fucking running the world and fascism is taking over. They're letting AI fucking run things. They're setting up a world where we're all going to have AI agents that have fucking next tier access to every ounce of privacy we ever had. They're letting the censorship go to where in California, in Berkeley of all places, the fucking Vietnam Protest Central, you know, they're now kicking out students who tweet wrong. You know, like, what are we? This is all happening in liberal California, Berkeley, California, under Democrats.
Yep.
Without any protection from Democrats. I mean,
no, and in fact, a lot of it started with Biden, who used anti-Semitism as a cudgel and made these and threatened. You know, a whole list of universities just came out, as we know anyway. I mean, they were all in the news last spring, a spring and a half ago. But that was Biden and that was in blue cities, blue states, run by a blue president, right?
Yeah, and Kimiko brings up a good point. I mean, she knows a lot of proud Democrats. I guess, you know, they do exist because you're just not that guy. You're proud to say I don't support the racist. I don't support the racist stuff. Or, you know, like it's an easy cudgel, but like, it's not a lot of people like it used to be. You know, it's not. It's a smaller segment of people. It's not enough to win elections, honestly. Yeah,
it's not. And then there's also, I do think though, and this is the thing that really has to be sort of like beaten out of the normie Dem idea. When Democratic politicians don't get us things, they have, like, normie Dems believe that Dems are really good at heart. They're empathetic.
Right.
Yeah. And so when they don't do something good, they want to, but there's just this whole list of excuses. And that's why you got to be the adult in the room and pull up your big boy pants and whatever. But when the same things keep happening, at a certain point, if you don't change your mind about this group of people who keep accomplishing nothing except for stealing more of our money and resources and transferring it to their wealthy donors, just like their Republican friends across the aisle, that if you just keep believing that it's Lucy in the football, like you're Lucy in the football.
Yes. And at some point, if they have this acknowledgement that, well, the system makes everything have to be worse, you know, like all the Democrats can do is just prevent it from getting that much worse, then you need to come to our side and fucking change the system.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we're trying to get to people, to these normie people, you know, normie Dems, is like, yes, okay, even if they do mean well, what is the outcome? Every time everything is in society is getting fucking worse. If you can't see how exponentially faster it's getting worse, you hate your fucking kids and you hate your fucking grandkids. Like, get on board and change the system. Fight this.
Yeah.
Don't think these are saviors.
Yeah. 100%. And it is interesting seeing the I've Had It podcast ladies get really upset and actually point some of their anger towards some real issues, not just, oh, it's a feckless Dem, but like, nobody who takes money from AIPAC should get your vote, or it's a genocide. You know, like, they're actually every once in a while saying some real issue oriented things from what I see. I mean, I don't watch them normally, but like when I see clips, that I do think is giving permission to more normie Dems to reevaluate the system, which is why you've got a panel on CNN of 6 people saying the exact same thing. Don't listen to your base. Yeah.
You guys need to grow up and be the adults.
All right. I think we've probably seen enough of that, but just to go back to the 3D chess,
Yeah, come on. This
We just have to end the
Can't let this
Democratic
go. You can't
part
let
on
this go.
with this clip of Kamala talking about her run against Donald Trump.
I was aware of my opponent's strategy, and I wasn't about to fall prey or fall into those traps. And part of his strategy and those around him was to try and take me off our game and message. And I wasn't about to be distracted by those flames that he was trying to throw to get me away from my highest priority, which was talking to people about the economy and their well-being in terms of their financial well-being. And I understood the game that was being played, and I made a decision that I wasn't going to get played. And
chess, not checkers. Got it.
Chess, not checkers.
Yeah, three-dimensional chess. I'm telling you, you know.
We're still part of the game, apparently. Like, does she know she lost? Which part of the 3D chess are we still in? Because what has she accomplished? Like, it's crazy to go outside and say those words out loud. What's happening?
Yeah, and 3D chess is chess is complicated. You're not playing chess with this. There's like millions of permutations. 3D chess, multiple millions of permutations. You're talking about the one thing everybody knew he was going to do, like it was some chess.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, hey, don't take the bait. That's it. That's not chess. That's not 3D chess, at least. Like,
but what is she even saying? Like, what? Like, all of those ladies were giggling along with her. What are they? Are they just giggling? Like, oh yeah, you were playing. Like, what was the play? Like, what does she think when she walks away and she talks to Doug? What's his name? Doug. It's like,
yeah.
Are we still in the game? Like, what is she saying? I don't know what she's saying.
Well, they're talking about, I think it's about her taking the bait with him, like trying to get into memes and mock her and, go down the path that Governor Newsom is down now. Like, I think that's kind of how I read a lot of that. But regardless, her saying she wanted to stay on point for the economic concerns of the people or whatever, that wasn't part of her platform at all. The economy wasn't even an issue.
There was that $50,000 tax credit after you bought a first home if you were also a Pell Grant recipient for 3 years. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was that she dropped a few means tested programs that got scoffed by the left hard, but a big economic plan was not part of her agenda at all. I mean, it couldn't be. She had no change in policy from Biden, and that was her answer to the world, and everyone saw it, and they're like, well, we don't have time to come up with a fucking economic agenda. We can't change course.
And she's planning her run. I mean, where are we now? 2026 is already going to be really fascinating to watch. And I will tell you that as much as I don't love, I mean, we have slim pickings right now that we're aware of. And I know there are, possible warning signs with somebody like Mamdani. I know there are possible warning signs with somebody like Graham Plattner. And I will call out those aspects that are wrong, but what we really do need are people who are fighting for policies that we all are desperate for.
Yeah, and I think what's going to happen in these primaries is the public is going to say the no APAC is one of the top demands.
Yep.
Like, I don't think you're going to be able to get through if you're taking APAC money, which is on its own a pretty big game changer.
Yeah.
But we have to look deeper than just the APAC money to CPAC, or not CPAC, the state version of APAC, JPAC. And, there's other ways that they can get this money funneled to them. But that's just one issue anyway. Like, even if you're good on that issue, you can still be owned by everybody and not actually care about economic interest.
Yeah.
But seeing that play out is going to change the primaries a lot. Like, we're going to have really interesting primaries because of that one issue.
I think so too. And just, God, I think it was Sirota it was Ryan Grimm who put this out. This is a YouGov survey of New York politics, but it was a national survey. It was not just of New Yorkers. And so all of the strongly support, somewhat support, all issues, raising taxes on corporations and millionaires, free childcare for every child 6 weeks to 5 years, raising the minimum wage to $30 by 2030, freezing rent for lower income tenants, creating a network of government-owned grocery stores, permanently eliminating the fares on public buses. All of those are over 50% nationally, not just in New York. So what that does is, what it should do is shut the Mayo Petes of the world up, right? Like, that is not a talking point. This guy certainly should never walk in public again, honestly. Genocide supporter, and covered up his family friend's murder of his girlfriend. Like, that's not a future for anybody. It shouldn't be.
I mean, for the New York Times to say this guy's the future of the party when the covering up the murder story did not go away. It's just nobody's talking about it because he's not running for office again. So the minute he runs for office again, that story's back in the press. It's not going anywhere. He didn't solve it. He didn't put it to rest somehow.
That's right. And
so
the
he's
fact
not
that
the future of anything.
That was the other thing was, what did they say? Oh, the overperforming. Like, that was the biggest voter turnout for mayor since 1978. He energized new people. And they're saying he didn't overperform, but Spanberger did. Spanberger, whatever the hell.
Yeah, but I'm sure they cooked the numbers because it's the first time you had an independent running that had Democratic support. The Democratic Party was behind the independent. So like the whole equation is fucked.
Yeah.
But like pretending that Kamala's numbers matter in relation to anything is ridiculous because everyone fucking hated her. So you can outperform her or do worse than her. And it doesn't tell you how people think about you at all.
Right. And it's, again, not like, even if you ask them, what do moderates feel, or the adults in the room or whatever, I don't think they could tell you what Spanberger's policy platform was. Like, it's just it's such a specious claim. It's so gross. They make their loyalties to their billionaire owners so clear. I do think people are waking up. I hope.
Yeah. I mean, come on. This is the other thing that's given away whose allegiance you have. All these Democrats and anyone, either party, that are in California, like I mentioned last show, they're fighting to not allow us to get data on how much water these data centers use. The Democrats, who are the climate change party.
That was struck. They don't talk about climate anymore. They're fracking. They're pro fracking now. Remember?
We have to.
Yeah. God, they're just, they are truly evil.
Grow up and let your kids
effective,
live in 120 degree daily heat.
Be an adult in the room. Be an adult. What kind of adult are you if you don't want fracking and climate disaster?
This is the kind of adult I am.
Spin it. Yeah, I need a refill.
We don't have any more wholesomes though. You can't
well, that's good. I'll delete it next time I have.
Puppets? I got some puppets. Let's see. I think we need some. Who doesn't like a spicy kitten?
All right.
Look at these spicy feral kitties. Oh. Are you just the sweetest? Yeah, that was a big yeah. Are you gonna jump? Don't jump! Pussy. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, he's not happy.
Oh my God, those are so cute. Aw, that was good.
So
I needed
Strike was pretty feral, right? She lived in the backyard of my parents' house and
right.
didn't, it took a long time to get her to be chill with me. But when she finally came over here and got out of her little hiding spot, because she hid for like 2-3 days.
Right.
She just stood on top of something screaming at me in my sleep all night, like just screaming at me,
Right.
like from like here all night for like a week.
And then she peed on you.
Still peeing. So there we go. Get a cat.
What a cat. That's really cute. All right, let's move on to the Golden White House. It's, we didn't pull a lot of clips, but I have to say that the Laura Ingraham interview with Trump didn't go great, right? Yeah. Okay.
The one thing with gold,
why not?
You can't imitate gold, real gold. There's no paint that imitates
So
gold.
these aren't like from Home Depot or something?
No, this is not Home Depot stuff.
No, not stuff you buy.
This is not Home Depot.
Okay, there's somebody who did a whole thread, like going through every single embellishment, corn, whatever they're called, all the different things. Like they're all Home Depot basically, or Amazon. Oh wait,
they look all like those Home Depot things sprayed with gold.
They're like decals, yeah.
He
just says the most ignorant, embarrassing things that even like Laura Ingraham can't. He walked her down like the what is it, the Hall of Fame, one of the colonnades with all the pictures of the presidents. It's all gold and embellished, and it just like
on the surface, it's all so incredibly tacky.
Yeah.
But like, even if it's real gold, like can you be tackier in our current economic situation when we're talking about when you're literally fighting before the Supreme Court to not feed kids and you're like, this is all real fucking gold. Look at it. We got a new building. We got a new marble bathroom. We're going to share some tweets about the marble bathroom and the new whatever. Who gives a fuck? Feed people. Like this is.
And now the whole thing where they're tearing down the whole East Wing for his ballroom, there's asbestos exposure that they're now worried about. But yes, I agree. Like, it's not that I want him to have the gold, of course. It's also tacky and like focus on real things, not the remodel of your home that you're only going to be there for another 3.5 years while there's major things happening in the country and around the world. Nobody gives a fuck what it looks like in there.
This administration is literally trying to bring back asbestos. That's all you need to know. They literally are fighting to bring back asbestos.
Yep. They are.
This is the party Democrats can't beat.
Here he is talking about the H-1B visa. So, there is a split in MAGA, like that started right from the beginning. And one of it was these H-1B visas, because the one thing that MAGA can all still agree on is we can't let immigrants into this country stealing our jobs. So this, but apparently Vivek and Elon got in Trump's ear, and he's sticking with the H-1B visas, which I'm fine with all of it. Like, I do believe in abundance. I believe we have plenty. I believe that the only people who, like, the big shift is there should be regulations on a proportionality between what the highest paid worker at a company makes to the lowest paid. There needs to be some regulation on that. And everybody who works, and even people who don't, but like, if you are working, you need to be a living wage tied to inflation. If that happened, it would turn everything around, right?
Yeah. I don't even care if the guy at the top makes exponentially more than everybody else. It's just a matter of, you can't have a system where the people in the middle toward the bottom are fucking struggling ever. Like nobody who has a job should be struggling. Everyone should be able to go to work for 40 hours and buy a house. Like that's the standard for me.
And then just because, and I know you believe this also, but just in case anybody clips this to hold it against us, like everybody, like just like healthcare is a human right.
Well, I don't mean, you don't have to work. I mean,
just like
existing,
but if you
should have food and a job and a house. I mean, a house. And
certainly no business should rely on being able to pay its employees poverty wages.
Right.
Okay, so that was like the best part of Trump's week. This is just, I mean, I do think that this is astonishing. So the man who just last year, as a reminder, I know we all know this, but just last year, the State Department was putting out, well, this is actually from 2017, but he was still on this list. Mohammed al-Jawlani, Al-Qaeda terrorist who actually like beheaded people, went through a branding change. Like truly, that's what happened. Just so like we won't listen to this whole thing, but this guy, sorry, we've got so many different things here. Where is the guy? Yeah, okay. This is U.S. diplomat Robert Ford on having to rebrand al-Jawlani because he needs to be our asset when we overthrow Assad and install him as the new president of Syria.
Starting in 2023, a British non-government organization which specializes in conflict resolution invited me to help them bring this guy out of the terrorist world and into regular politics. And at first, I have to tell you, I was very leery of going. I sort of had images of me in an orange jumpsuit with a knife to my throat. But after talking to several people who had gone in, and one of whom had met him, I decided to take the chance. And so the first time I met him, this guy's name is nom de guerre, was Abdulkader Jolani, but his actual name is Ahmed Shara, which he only revealed to the world after he captured Damascus in the Blitzkrieg of December 2024, about 5 months ago. First time I met him, I sat down next to him, and I'm literally as close as I am to Roy, and I said, this is all in Arabic, I said, never in a million years could I imagine that I would be sitting next to you. Long beard, in fatigues. And he looked at me, he speaks very softly, and he said, Wallah ana, me neither. And we went on and actually had a pretty civil conversation. I share this because he said something which really piqued my interest. He never apologized for the terrorist attacks in Iraq or in Syria, although there were many fewer in Syria. Never apologized. But he also said, now I am governing an opposition-held area of northwest Syria, and I am learning that the tactics and the principles that I was following in Iraq do not apply when you actually have to govern 4 million people. And they had 2 million residents of that area of Syria, and then another 2 million refugees who had come there from other parts of Syria. So they had a population of 4 million. He said, I am learning that to govern, you have to make compromises. I was very struck by that. So that was in March 2023, just over 2 years ago. We went back a second time in September.
I just, listen, I cannot stand this Brian Mast guy. He's disgusting. He's an AIPAC funded, genocide enabling enthusiast. He's gross. But he lost both of his legs fighting Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. And I just what do our military, we just had also like the juxtaposition of yesterday being Veterans Day and then having this person who was part of the group that they lied us into, 20 years of war and then finally left Afghanistan and handed the reins right back over to Taliban. Like, what does that do to the psychological well-being of anybody in the military? Why would anybody fight for this country and our fake wars ever?
It's awful. We need to remember to ask Anthony Aguilar about that, because like this is just for all the talk about, Hamas are just baby killers and they're just bad people and they're awful and they're irredeemable, which is our country's policy basically. To have this guy in the White House next to somebody who's lost his legs in their conflict. And we're just, but it goes back to Biden too, Omar, who's the guy?
I'm on my third glass of wine and my brain's not functioning.
The guy he ended up fist bumping.
Oh,
the oil stuff.
the Saudi, the Prince of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but I can't
MBS.
to save my life. Was it MBS? Oh, I was thinking Omar. I'm so bad at names. I'm not even going to butcher it. But anyway,
MBS, who's coming anyway. He's going to come and he's coming to the White House soon. Yeah,
it's just all for show. Biden said that, and then he's like fist bumping the guy. He's like, so here we are, fully exposed. Here he is. Here's this guy, literal Al-Qaeda. This is our president. This is one of the most embarrassing things I've seen a president do, to be honest. Like, shame on him.
Men's fragrance. Yeah. This is it's the best fragrance. Come here, man. I have more here, sir. Okay. So what we'll do is just take that, Joe, put it in, and then the other one is for your wife. How many ones? Your wife. You guys, I never know, right? I never.
I mean,
how does MAGA take this? Like, do they know? Is anyone telling MAGA about this? Because I think they're hiding all of this from MAGA.
Well, okay, my thermometer on all of this, temperature read, it's just on Twitter, and so I saw a different compilation of that. And again, like, who knows how the algorithm works, and if I'm only getting to see the people who are pro-Trump, but almost all of the comments below were commending him for diplomacy and for handling him the right way, and that no other leader could get away with doing to the president of Syria what Trump was doing.
That's wild. And they'll justify it somehow as like he's the peace president, so he's brokering peace by even look at him even with Al-Qaeda, because he's going to, it's so important that we're not getting engaged in these international conflicts anymore. America first.
Stage America first. Like, how did they know back in December that they were going to coup Assad, and they had him primed already to take that on? Like, that U.S. diplomat who talks about being brought on to do the brand shift for Al-Jawani, kind of gave it away. Like, how'd they know he was going to be the new president? Interesting. That's interesting. Yeah.
I can never hear interesting without thinking of Gavin Newsom anymore.
Oh my God.
But we're not
all
going
right.
to Dems
What
yet.
else? What else do we have with Trump? Again, like, this guy is underwater on everything. And the fact that Democrats, the art of the kneel, they bowed down, bowed out because they all work for the same people. Percent who approve of how Trump is managing the federal government, U.S. adults, everybody, it's all depleted. I mean, 5% Democrats, 25% independents. Republicans have dropped 13 points, and the nation as a whole. I mean, I don't even know how he has 33% approval rate, but he's at 33% approval rate.
Yeah. It's wild that we don't have a vote of no confidence situation in this country, because if we did, the midterm election would be, he'd be out. Trump would be gone. Even Trump, you know, with all his MAGA right nut jobs that still love him, he would fail the test. The country would vote him out and he'd be gone. But our Constitution doesn't have that. So here we are.
Okay, so
you can impeach him.
Well, okay, which brings up this whole Epstein dump.
Going nowhere.
Which is pretty substantial. Again, if you wanted to make sure that the country doesn't elect him, or if you wanted to surface the information that clearly they've all had and prevent him from getting elected in the first place, or then to impeach him based on his lies, and like you could use that, except that the leader of the Democratic Party at that point, like the man in what's it called when you have like an honorary, like, was Bill Clinton. So that completely neutralized that ability to use the Epstein connection.
Of course. Democrats have the power to stop Hitler. They literally do. They've had it this whole time, right? So, but they were Hitler themselves as well. I mean, that's Palestine, you know, same thing. But let's step aside in Palestine and just look at ICE and surveillance and everything they're doing right now. Democrats could stop it right now if they want to. They can. But it's like, it makes the Republican Party look 100% worse than they are, but it makes the Democrats look 10% worse. But that's going to hurt the donors, and that little it's not worth it. They don't care. They don't care. The donors don't want the change anyway, because status quo is the whole entire moderate Democrat position forever. Like, don't change anything.
Yeah. And also, every conspiracy theory always turns out to be true. And everybody was connected to Epstein. I mean, that's why he was such an effective intelligence agent, right? Or asset, whatever the exact terminology. Everybody was somehow implicated. So like there's, it's like Jenga, like you pull one piece out and all of your allies, all of your friends, your whole political party also crumbles. So that's the strategy.
But I mean, if you listen to RFK, he makes sense out of it for us.
Let's hear. He always does.
So, and you run into everybody in New York. I mean, I knew Harvey Weinstein. I knew Roger Ailes. I knew O.J. Simpson came to my house. Bill Cosby came to my house. So, and you run into everybody in New York. I mean, I knew Harvey Weinstein. I knew Roger Ailes. I knew O.J. Simpson came to my house. Bill Cosby came to my house.
It's like Cuomo in his last ditch effort right before the election, being like, it looks like OJ's car, but it's not. But it's kind of OJ's car. He mentioned OJ 5 times. Like, if you're using OJ in anything, you're probably failing in your messaging.
If I ever come to you and I'm like, hey, Lila, I'm buddies with that pedophile, but I also have 5 other pedophile buddies. So don't worry about that. I mean, it's California. We're all friends with pedos.
Listen, I know you're joking, but like, I don't, that I'm aware of, know any pedophiles. And if I did, that would be the end of my relationship with that person. These people are all just palling around together, fully aware and often complicit in raping children.
And that's where his list is not just like, okay, we might know people, right? Because we're Hollywood, we know people, we run into people. These people were known at the time of these interactions for they've known for a long time. Like it's been an inside secret, maybe with Weinstein and some of these other people, but like to pretend that this list of people he lists off, like that just that implicates him. Sorry, that doesn't you can't just list off a bunch of pedos that everybody thought were pedos at the time and say,
and a killer,
well, I knew
and
those
also
pedos.
a killer.
Yeah, and
Like,
a killer.
what's better? Listen, when I wasn't hanging out with the double homicider, I was hanging out with the rapist, child rapist. Okay, so there was this big dump today, but what's interesting is Drop Site, Ryan Grimm, and he also is working with. I'm just going to pop this in really quickly because Murtaza Hussein is the other person. They have been doing great reporting at Drop Site, in addition to covering, Israel continued slaughtering of Palestinians, both in Gaza and the West Bank, and the settler violence. I mean, they've been doing such great work. They keep writing these articles based on information that's already out there that everybody has. Then today, Democrats, I'm sure, to combat the furor over them caving on the shutdown, just did this huge dump of all of these emails that, of course, they've all, or a huge number of them had already seen. This is, as you were saying, it's an open secret, not even a secret. It's just open.
And apparently, like, all of Congress has known about this for at least 6 months. Like, that's what I read somewhere. I made that number up, but a long time. Congress has known the literal contents of these emails that we're about to show. Okay.
So here is the New York Times, finger on the pulse, and they don't mention what Murtaza Hussein and Ryan Grimm report on, which is the Israeli connection, which we'll get into in a minute. But so this is all just because, of course, they can't, and we'll show you. But Epstein alleged in emails that Trump knew of his conduct. So we've got this coming from Ghislaine Maxwell to Jeffrey Epstein. I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Then the victim's name is redacted. Spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned, police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. This is Michael Wolff talking in a reply to Jeffrey Epstein. Another victim, or maybe the same, I don't know, at Mar-a-Lago, Trump said he had asked me to resign, never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. So, that's actually less, that shows that he, of course, knew, as everybody knew. That actually makes Trump look slightly better than the previous one that we just showed, which was he's raping a young woman in the other room for hours. So, of course, he's not going to tell. This is another Michael Wolff to Epstein. This is in 2015. I think you should let him hang himself. So this is, I hear CNN planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in the scrum afterwards. That was Michael Wolff to Epstein. Epstein says, if we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? And then Michael Wolff replies, I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. Or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt. These people are so disgusting. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that just screams Michael Wolff is also in the Mossad circle, right? Because why are you?
Yeah, well, and he was a consultant for Trump, or his lawyer for a while before he turned on him, right? So yeah, they're all, right. But yeah, you can leverage this against him, which is the whole, it's not the whole deal. Obviously there are.
No, but that's how they turn this into a win. Yeah. Even when.
Yeah.
He's like, it's still going to be a win because our goal is not how the public thinks about me. It's about what Mossad is going to have on them, or whoever is going to have on them. We have leverage.
You can exactly leverage this over him, and if he becomes president and he doesn't rat you out, then we have that leverage also, right? Any which way.
Which is where we are.
Right. Okay. This was written in 2014. This is Kathy Rumler, who at the time was the White House counsel for Barack Obama. Okay. She is writing back and forth with Jeffrey Epstein, who, so he says to her, you need to talk to boss, assuming that's Obama, but we don't know. Agreed, but I need to be prepared to say yes before I talk to him. We don't know exactly what that's about. Understood. It comes down to high risk reward. I think this is because do they leak this information about Trump being part of Epstein's circle of rapey friends? Then he writes back to her, or she writes to him, most girls do not have to worry about this crap. So to me, that feels inappropriate for White House counsel to be writing emails with a convicted child rapist in this sort of like flirtatious, familiar way. He responds, girls, careful, I will renew an old habit. This week, Thiel, Summers, Larry Summers, Bill Burns, Gordon Brown, Jagland, Council of Europe and Nobel Chairman, Mongolia President, Hardeep Puri from India, Boris, Gates, Jabor from Qatar, Sultan of Dubai, Coslin from Harvard, Leon Black, Woody Allen. They're all coming. You're a welcome guest at any. Also, if you think there are interesting people in town, everyone here for Climate Summit, Clinton Security Council. Holy shit, I'm on redacted for the next 30 minutes. And that was his weekend. And she says, you don't look like you are prioritizing your schedule very effectively. How are you going to manage all of that? This is Unga week, so the boss will be in town. I'll be here all week. You may get sick of me. Just sat down on the train, so can't talk freely. That is Obama's White House counsel talking to Jeffrey Epstein about all of the dignitaries, foreign leaders, people at Harvard, Larry Summers, Peter Thiel.
Yeah, we're going to need some time to unpack this, but like the way I'm reading that right there is that I read that almost as him threatening her with the info he has on these leaders. But maybe it's more like, hey, I can get info from these people. I don't know. I don't understand the chain enough to really dig in, but
yeah. Well, okay. The reason I think that he's not threatening her, but I might be wrong, is that this is another just like kind of random, flirty, friendly exchange.
Yeah.
Where basically, I mean, it's really small to read, but basically she's saying, I'm driving or I'm on the train. I'm going to stop to pee and look at obese people and they're going to make me feel nauseous. And then I'm not going to eat for a really long time. And he says, if you ever want me to pick you up or like, it's very sort of like chatty, flirty, friendly. Again, I think wholly inappropriate for a work formal correspondence. Why is she corresponding with Jeffrey Epstein anyway as the White House counsel, who, by the way, is now a lawyer for Goldman Sachs? But then also this is, again, she is talking back and forth with Jeffrey Epstein. This is in 2018, which is so crazy because he is the vector, the initial seed of all of this stuff, right? So she writes to him, to Jeffrey Epstein. This is the White House counsel for Barack Obama in the year 2018. So obviously Trump is president now. She writes, here's a story for the New York Times I thought you'd find interesting. The principled case for impeachment is clear. What's missing is the courage. Epstein writes back, I think he makes the argument that it was Trump's money, making it not illegal, though he said he only found out afterwards. And the fact, according to the indictment, was billed as services rendered and grossed up. I'm sure his accountant has flipped anyway. I did talk in detail to Kenneth Starr yesterday, Ray indictments, how Trump can make a deal with the special counsel, Clinton's trash. Yes, Starr gave me more. Yeah. So like all of these people knew. They all knew. And again, if you're worried about somebody like Trump, then you don't care about the Clintons who are off the political scene or should be anyway, right? Like, but the problem is, as we all know, that list of people, like the list of people that he was dealing with, that he had incriminating evidence against, was so long that it's a house of cards. Everything comes tumbling down. And that's the power in this whole organization. They're all
absolutely. Absolutely agree, and that's why we've had this delay. You know, the shutdown in part it was about not approving the Democrat who is going to sign on to investigate further. But both parties are cooked. You know, public support for both parties is at an all-time low.
Yeah,
and so this just brings that tier down for both parties. They're both implicated. They both want to protect it as long as they can because they know, you know, even if Democrats gain 5% popularity over it versus the harm it does to Republicans, the institution that is fighting off socialism and trying to get people fed and trying to get people jobs, we all benefit if we expose these fucks because we have more power to get things through if people recognize what a corrupt fucking system we have. So they're going to fight this forever. But like this leak is kind of amazing in that it does bring this back to life. And I don't know who decided to put that out there, but I feel like there are people within the party and power structure that hate all of this at a level that's beyond partisan politics. And it's about the raping of fucking women and Mossad controlling our government officials, and some of that trumps parties to some people, I think, and that's why we're getting this.
I think so too, and I also think that there are some Democrats now in Congress who hate the Clintons, right? So I think that if that's the biggest, right, like Larry Summers, the Clintons, the whole Clinton posse of people, they don't mind at this point being done with them. And because of the whole AIPAC and Israel situation, they also don't feel like they need to, you know, kowtow to that connection either. So some of the, well, this was just interesting was that, you know, this was Michael Wolff, again, writing to Jeffrey Epstein. What's the thumbnail on Nussbaum Foster? Nussbaum, White House counsel, Hillary doing naughties with Vince Foster. Interesting, whatever. Okay. But this is sort of the more important I mean, it's all hideous, disgusting. All of these people should be put in Sede Taman and get exactly what the IDF has given to Palestinians for the rest of their long, miserable lives. But the other part was Epstein working with Mossad for Israel. So the sex trafficker helped Israel build a back channel to Russia amid Syrian civil war. Hacked emails show how Jeffrey Epstein and former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak tried to engineer a Russian-led solution to remove Bashar al-Assad. Another one, Israeli security got a security agreement with Mongolia, which was helped along by Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein helped Israel sell a surveillance state to the Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire. Leaked emails show the details behind talks between Cote d'Ivoire and Israel, shepherded by Ehud Barak and Jeffrey Epstein. And then he housed this Israeli spy for weeks Yoni Koren stayed with him, and Epstein got wire transfers of money to Ehud Barak. Okay, this one is so crazy, and it feels like all of it put together. In the latest Epstein dump, a major UAE royal Sultan bin Salayem, whose name ended up on Epstein docs as a character reference, but who was denied knowledge of being listed, sends Epstein an email about shoes embedded with GPS. Integrated GPS shoes by GTXC, though originally made to track patients and kids, we're sure the shoes will be integrated soon with the Nike Plus One iPod, so you can track your run in your personal Google mashup, or hide it in your wife's purse to see whether she's banging San Francisco's mayor, Gavin Newsom, or something like that. The system from GTXC has a sophisticated GPS integrated into the shoe, which communicates directly with the satellite, which then relays locations in real time to their monitoring center and made available via internet or phone. Predetermined geographic areas can also be defined and alert sent when the person being tracked leaves or enters the area. And don't worry, they already have a product for outdoor activities called the wearable caddy. And part of the sell was that you could put it in kid shoes.
Yeah. Honestly, I look at all this and I don't know if Trump is beholden to Russia or some other party or what. Like, I've never been one to think Russia really owned Trump or something, but like whoever owns him, whoever is pulling the strings on Trump, in my mind,
right?
He's doing everything he could to ruin our fucking country. The tariffs are so bad for our country's economy. Like, it's not beyond thinking that this guy is just in his own sense of survival doing whatever somebody says because he's so they got tapes, like literal tapes. I mean, I don't know. It's possible. I don't think necessarily Russia, but maybe Israel. Maybe it's Israel at the end of the day, because Mossad was tied with Epstein on this. Like, maybe that's it. That's all it is.
I mean, I hear you. I think I understand what you're saying. I mean, I feel like it is the oligarchs. It is the wealthiest people in the world who want to pull all of the strings.
Right. But I think there's another piece that them pulling the strings is destroying this country economically somehow. I think that's part of the motivation, because the tariffs, who is benefiting from the tariffs?
Right.
Like which rich, international companies are getting, it's hurting the global economy is getting pulled down by this. So I just don't know how.
Yeah. No, you might be right.
This makes sense. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know. I'm not calling it one way or another.
No. I hear what you're saying, because like it does feel like, obviously I feel like a lot of people are hell-bent on destroying this country in different ways, right? Like, there's no American dream, there's no democracy, and that's bipartisan, and people are devastated financially, the working class. But what you're saying, I think, is that, but see, those billionaires
trash our economy, make people not want to travel to our country.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
I just think it's
Osama
I think it's
bin
crazy
Laden
not to consider the options that this dude literally is owned by some party or something. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Mossad sold that intelligence to one particular company, and the whole tariff thing is about just benefiting this one particular company, but they got the dirt on Trump. So it's like, they're like, ruin America, make us filthy fucking trillionaires.
Right.
I mean, I know this sounds crazy. I'm just saying.
No, I mean, nothing is crazy. I need to sort of sit and think about it. I mean, I feel like the tech bros and the billionaire people and the sultans and the oligarchs, the international oligarchs, just the way you can create and finance the Mujahideen or ISIS or Al-Qaeda and then depose the leader of Syria and put in the guy who you used to say was the terrorist, and that like it feels like everything is fairly arbitrary, except that the ruling elite continue to rule no matter what. And I like, so to me, it feels like part and parcel of that. We're just at the end stages of it, but you might be right. It might be a more like targeted I mean, wouldn't it be funny if he's working for China? No, I'm kidding. Who knows?
Yeah, no, I don't really think it would be Russia, honestly, in this situation. Yeah. It's kind of, I just don't know, but I'm just saying I can't justify the economic harm he's doing this country for benefiting his buddies. Even I don't think it's that. I think somebody has some real shit on him via Mossad, via Epstein.
Right.
It's my conspiracy theory. I'm going down with it. I don't care.
I mean, I think people have stuff on him. I guess I just think
same stuff they have on some of these other guys, but he's like so blatantly making moves that are detrimental to the US. Yeah. Like, I don't think it's just to enrich himself. It doesn't feel like it anymore.
Right.
When you look at it.
Yeah. No, I mean, you might be totally right. I have no idea. It just feels
I don't either.
Like, you know, the end stages of capitalism, and
it's cosmic pressure talking. 9.5%.
This is though the US dollar fell 11% in the first half of 2025, the biggest drop since 1973. So, I mean, we're in dire straits. And when they are, you know, promoting this idea of a 50-year mortgage, like, so what that means is you're a renter for your whole life. You're always indebted to the banks. You will be paying so many times more the actual value of your home. And that wealth that people, you know, nobody can buy a house now. People used to buy their first homes, their starter homes, in their mid to late 20s. Now they're in their late 30s, 40s, sometimes not even till 50. And that's if you're lucky. And that is how people were able to pass down wealth. So now nobody's passing down wealth. We're all just going to be like your forever subscription service. You own nothing. So like, if there is any way not to sell anything of value that you have, if there's anything you own, even like CDs or DVDs, like just to not have to participate on every level in a subscription, whether it's your home, your car, your Netflix, like nobody owns anything except for the owners.
No,
I just wanted to be, yes. Okay, good.
Well, no, this is so small, but the subscription thing, I was over at my folks' house earlier. I stopped by because I was giving a bid for a job to people across the street. And I'm like, oh, I'll just stop by and say hi to my folks because I'm literally across the street. One of the things they needed me to fix, because tech folks, you know, old people, my dad has this light and you need to turn it. You need to get an app on your phone to change the colors and do that shit, you know. You can't do it very well with the regular service, but they have a subscription service they're selling to be able to change the color of the light you fucking bought.
Jesus Christ.
I know this is a small thing, but I'm just like, that's where we're at. Like, everybody needs a subscription to something to do the fucking stupid fucking thing that you paid for already.
It is despicable. And like, I just got notices. I have a Fitbit and I'm going to get rid of it because I don't move anyway. I'm not getting my steps. Why do I need something to shame me about it? But like now it's like you have to tie yourself into Google and put all your information into Google. I think, you know, like everyone carrying around smartphones with the GPS in it. And like, you know, there's been so many different comedians who do jokes on like, you know, don't get into a car with strangers. And it's like, oh, and now we're just like on our phone plugging into Uber and getting in cars with random strangers. You know, it's like all the things that we were warned against, we are doing voluntarily, just giving up all of our information, I think is really, really scary. Yeah, this is definitely the fall of this empire. I have no doubt about that at all, which, I think could make the world possibly a nicer place for many other countries. But I just, who knows what the next group that fills that void is going to be. But wait, just before we leave the Epstein thing, the last two bits that we pulled for today, this is from 2016. This is the financial reporter for the New York Times, Landon Thomas, giving the heads up to Jeffrey Epstein about a guy doing a book on you, John Connolly. He seems very interested in your relationship with the news media. I told him you were a hell of a guy. One oddity, he said he had been told that quote from Trump about you in the original New York Mag story had been manufactured, i.e. that I did not actually speak to Donald, which is bullshit, of course. I'm sure that's what Trump told them, as they have been getting a lot of questions from reporters about you. He actually seemed to be a sensible guy, solid reporter, just from the few conversations I had with him. I think he's close to finishing up. Did you ever speak to him? And that was the first of two that were released. He's digging around again. Not clear if it's another book or expanded paperback version. Was asking me all sorts of questions about why you hired Ken Starr. I told him I had no idea. This is the financial reporter for the New York Times. The whole job of a reporter is to tell the secrets, not keep them with a child rapist.
Yeah. Hey, watch out. Someone's writing a story on you. It's not us. We're not doing it. I'm not doing it. Watch out for reporters. The New York Times, who famously have done all the bidding of Israel recently. They set up the whole rape, beheaded baby nonsense. Cooked story. They've never apologized for it. They haven't retracted it. Nothing. Iraq war. That's the New York Times. I mean, they're the true villains of war.
Yes.
And here they are saying, giving Epstein the heads up.
We should spin, because then we should get into a little bit of what's been just revealed this week. I mean, so much of it we knew, but some reporting on Israel and the actual rapes and testimonies of Palestinian hostages that the New York Times isn't reporting on at all. Not even a drop. I mean.
Yeah, baby.
I think you should choose, Riley.
All right.
After my wholesome fail.
No, it was good. It was good. It was just, I had to, to me, that's like a what the fuck. That's all. I was just, it's like drinking something and I expected it to be milk and it was orange juice. And you're like, oh, that's all. All right. Lefty LOL. Let's do, this is comedian Rich Spalding talking about billionaires.
I love watching your TikTok, which is next level. Clearly that's expressed by my 13-year-old son.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
If I do my job really well, all that happens is that the billionaire who owns EasyJet gives a tiny amount of his money to the billionaire who owns me. And then at the end of the month, my billionaire gives me the tiniest fraction of that money so that I can give it to the millionaire who owns my house. That's the system. That's the system we're all living in. It's a good system. Because there's fun in the system as well. It's not all work, because obviously when you get your money from your billionaire, you have to pay the other billionaires, the energy billionaire, the tax billionaire, the insurance billionaire. You have to make sure all your billionaires are paid. But if you've got a bit of money left over after you've paid your billionaires, that's yours, baby. You can spend that on whatever you like. I'm a big football fan, so I like to watch football. For those who don't know how football works, there's this billionaire, but he's different because he owns like a group of millionaires. And so when I've got money from my billionaire and I've paid my other billionaires, I can then save up a little bit, give it to that billionaire, and the next time his millionaires play a game, I can watch.
Rich Spalding, billionaire.
Too true.
That's pretty good. Okay. So there was a revelation, which, I mean, for those of us who follow, Electric Intifada and Drop Site, Gray Zone, I think we probably had already seen testimony from IDF soldiers who had revealed that there was a stand down order on October 7th, a stand down order during the first 3 or 4 hours of the fence being broken by Hamas and other fighters. There was it's so funny. We just saw that Jen Perlman is in the audience or in the chat, and I already watched this a couple nights ago, and I don't know how much we want to listen to this woman subtitled, but basically one of the members of the Knesset, Nama Lazimi, there's like a revolt now that Bibi Netanyahu was complicit in October 7th. They want to take him down, not because they have some, great love for Palestinians or anti-genocide, but because he clearly has allowed their own people to be killed or taken hostage, have not fought this war in a way that has allowed them to shine in the way they used to be able to manipulate their shine around the rest of the world, right? So
it is that they openly are admitting that their PR isn't working like it used to, which is admitting that you're up to bad shit and people are onto it, basically.
But that's the whole thing. Like, they are planning right now their new attack on propaganda, because even though they have been able to prevent international journalists from coming into Gaza, which is insane, and they continue to sort of put up stops to that. I don't know why they're allowed to function that way and why there's not some international rules-based order that insists, but they know that once journalists start coming in, any ability to defend their actions at all, which I don't know why anybody would still have that ability to defend anything that's happened, but it will be completely destroyed by the reality on the ground, what they have done, the sheer horror of the devastation and the obliteration of Palestinians in Gaza. So that's one part. The other part is, not only was that gang rape caught on film in Sde Taman of the Palestinian hostage, and then it was leaked to the press, and now the lawyer who leaked it is under house arrest, and she is now the target of, she didn't leak it because she was hoping to help Palestinians. She was hoping to save, again, the image of Israel internationally. But that has caught the attention of people who are the liberal Zionists, who are still Zionists, who basically, again, just do not want their image to be tarnished. So on Channel 12, one of the hosts of this show, Guy Peleg, reads the indictment details, because at this point, the knowledge that Israeli soldiers use rape as a weapon of war, widespread, is common knowledge.
It's fact. I mean, you've got the guys going on TV pleading their case with masks on.
and greeted with standing ovations like heroes in the Israeli Supreme Court.
Yeah, you're gonna show it?
Yeah.
We should show it.
זה התיאור, כל התיאור הזה נלקח כאמור מתוך תיעוד במצלמות האבטחה, ואני מקריא עכשיו. בשלב הזה הצמידו נאשם 4 ונאשם 5 את העצור לקיר בעמידה. הרימו את ידיו, הרים המחבל את ידיו האזוקות למעלה והצמידו אותן לקיר. יתר הנאשמים ניצבו בסמוך. מיד לאחר מכן נמצא העצור על הרצפה, מתנועע ומתפתל, כשהנאשמים עומדים סביבו ולעיתים רוכנים מעליו. ואני ממשיך. החל משלב זה ובמשך, שימו לב, 15 דקות, הנאשמים בעטו בעצור, דרכו עליו, עמדו על גופו, היכו ודחפו אותו בכל גופו, לרבות באמצעות עלה. גררו את גופו על הרצפה, הפעילו כלפיו אקדח טייזר, לרבות בראשו. אני ממשיך. לאורך האירוע, זה תואם עם העורך, אז בסדר, בבקשה. לאורך האירוע התחלפו הנאשמים בהחזקת הכלבה, כלבת תקיפה, ובשלב מסוים אחז הנאשם בכלבה והצמיד אותה לעצור. שימו לב, תוך כדי ביצוע המעשים האלה, המתועדים כאמור, נפל כיסוי העיניים של העצור, ולאחר מכן, אחד הנאשמים דקר את העצור בעכוזו, באמצעות חפץ חד, אשר חדר בסמוך לפי הטבעת של העצור, גרם לו לקרע בדופן הרקטום. לאחר מכן, אחד מהנאשמים פקד על העצור להכניס לפיו עלה, שהחזיק בתוקף תפקידו. ולסיכום, מעשי האלימות המתוארים של הנאשמים גרמו לחבלות חמורות בגופו של העצור, לשברים בשבע מצלעותיו, לנקב בריאתו השמאלית, לקרע ברקטום, לחבלות בגופו ובפניו. עקב כך, ועקב הדקירה בעכוזו, נדרש העצור להליך קירורגי, שכלל הטיה של המעי הגס לדופן הבטן שלו. זה מה שנעשה שם, לפי כתב האישום, ועל זה יש אנשים שמעזים להגן.
So that came out in conjunction with the Palestinian Center for Human Rights releasing documented testimonies of rape victims. And the testimonies, the details are so horrifying, being raped by glass bottles, being gang raped while handcuffed to a bed and left there when they're done while they're outside laughing at you and pointing. The raping of hostages with electric prods. And then after it's stuck in their anus, they force the electric prod in the victim's mouth. The use of dogs to rape Palestinian hostages. The testimonies go on and on. There is an Israeli lawyer who has Palestinian clients, and he just released a 9-minute video on his Facebook account saying that every time he goes to visit his client, the client is then raped with a broomstick after the visit. And
none of this happens if you don't have a society where you think other people are lesser than you. Like, this is not, there's no world where I could just get up one day and think, even if I had an evil terrorist in front of me, I can do any of that shit to them. Because I still would see the humanity in them if we disagreed. And even though they're the devil, I can't be, nothing could make me take a bottle, a broken glass bottle, and rape somebody. You know, this is cultural. This is taught. This is condoned. This is a sick fucking society.
It is so sick. And, you know, it's not that this is the primary focus. I know I say this all the time, but like what that does to a society to think, and by the way, there are head rabbis who are consulting with the IDF, telling them to do this, that everybody, even the children, even the unborn, are terrorists or future terrorists. And There's no innocent Palestinian. That's horrific enough, but that next level. And so we want our soldiers to commit these atrocities without any thought of like, what does that do to your own people? It's so despicable. It's just so, I mean, it's like despicable. It's too light a word. I like, and then to have these rapists, by the way, go home to their wives who celebrate them also.
And for us in the US to just, I mean, none of this happens without us.
100%.
And anyone in the media, I don't care who you are, where you work, if you provide any cover for this whatsoever, you're as bad as the guy doing it, because you're supposed to be the protectors here. Yep. You're supposed to inform the public. You're supposed to make this country go, we can't support that. We should be, Democrats are bad, Republicans are bad, this is bad. Instead of a political news team that just takes sides and represents the donors. Well, the donors are the ones with the fucking prods here.
Yes. But also, like, how quickly they all lined up to spread the lie about Hamas using rape as a weapon of war. They have not shown one evidence of rape by Hamas. Not one. And that lie has been spread in the documentaries, and Kamala still mentioned it. There was another, was it Pete Buttigieg? But like they all know better. How are they not seeing all of this that we see and have been seeing now for, by the way, decades? Human rights activists have been talking about Israel using rape as a like institutionalized method of humiliation and torture for decades. They know this. And so to take up the lie from Israel as part of your propaganda to defend the genocide that is about to happen, or at least that it's going to like step up even more than it has for the last 8 decades, and then never come back to the actual rapes, like they do not believe anybody but their ruling class of oligarchs is worth having a life. We're all expendable and none of it matters. None of it matters. They don't care about women's rights. They don't care about human rights. They don't care about healthcare. They don't care about having a roof over your head. They don't care about democracy. They don't care about any of it. It's all a lie. 2F.
Yeah. And it all connects to here and to our politics as well, because, just like there's a religious justification that they weaponize with the rabbis.
Right.
It's the same thing here in the US with left and right. Like, well, you can forgive what our side's doing because the other side, we can connect Christianity to Judaism, and that's the connection there because we're allies like this. So, so that all this stuff is getting leveraged against people, but like this is why it's important to not be tribal and bullshit. Like that's why progressives are, no borders kind of people, because we're all fucking people. Like everybody, we don't fall into this trap of needing to blame somebody else for our woes. The people up top are the ones putting all this on us. So left, right, Christian, Jewish, whatever, like it's all bullshit. Like
it is.
People fall prey to that stuff, and it's used to justify a lot of this crap. But I'm an atheist, so
yeah, I mean, same. I don't believe in God, but also the international elite, the oligarchs, they don't have borders. So like all of that talk, like that team talk, the make America great, or they don't care. It's all just propaganda to like everything else, to make you hate somebody else instead of hating them. They don't have borders. They party in Abu Dhabi and Dubai and with the UAE and, Saudi Arabia and Netanyahu. They don't believe they're terrorists. They don't care. It is interesting just speaking about like the toll this is taking on Israeli soldiers, which again is my last concern. But more and more are coming forward. There is a documentary that I can't access right now, so I'm hoping that somebody starts sharing clips on ITV. But IDF soldiers coming forward and saying that they were told to use Palestinians as human shields, kill aid workers, fire tank shells at people who were clearly civilians. The brigade rabbi sat down and spent half an hour explaining that we must take revenge on all of them, including civilians. They talk about the torture that they meted out to hostages in jails. They have children in jails for years who are just held in detention, who were never charged with anything. And this has been known for decades.
Yeah, it's awful, and we're closer to that here now than ever.
We really
to
are.
bring it to the U.S.
100%.
Because of what we allow there.
Yes. 100%. Okay. Should we choose one nice thing and then go out on our one good thing?
It's a hard pivot from what we were just talking
I know.
about. But let's woosah. Take a moment. Should we get a lull in here?
Yeah, let's get a lull.
A lull. I don't know if this is a lull, but I feel like the cunt song is calling me right now.
Let's do it. Well, if the cunt
I
song's
love
calling
watching
you.
your TikTok, which is next level. Clearly, that's expressed by my 13-year-old son.
No, God, please, no, no.
If you're a racist, a misogynist, or homophobe, then I think you're an absolute c***. If you're transphobic, xenophobic, or ableist, then I think you're an absolute c***. If you go to bat for the billionaires, take us all for fools. If you excuse government complicity in bombing hospitals and schools, if you think genocide is justified, then I think you're an absolute c***. If you think peaceful protest should be prescribed, then I think you're an absolute c***. If you try to blame the victim, if you're against bodily autonomy, if you own an influential news outlet and choose to use it to platform bigotry, if you complain about asylum seekers, then I think you're an absolute c***. If you call a person an illegal, then I think you're an absolute c***. If you side with corporations, if you're anti-living wage, if you actually come from inherited wealth but try to pass yourself off as self-made, if you fly flags to intimidate, then I think you're an absolute c***. If you spread misinformation and hate, then I think you're an absolute c***. If you moan about cancel culture when you make offensive jokes, if you try to police people's genders, if you call climate change a hoax, if you use the word woke as an insult, then I think you're an absolute c***. If you refuse to recognize your own privilege, then I think you're an absolute c***.
I love that guy. Who is that?
He was spot
I need
on.
to look.
Let's see. I have his name somewhere. Jesus Christ. It's too long. Wait. I'll get it. Give me 1 second. But
Okay.
Talk about something important.
Yeah, I'm gonna riff.
Riff.
That's great. Also, I do like just bringing back the word cunt and using it with abandon. I love it, especially that way. Like that's the best way. Just speaking of people who continue to be principled, Miss Rachel unsubscribing from the New York Times because of its biased and dehumanizing coverage of Palestinians and Palestine and its failure to uphold journalistic integrity. I love that she is doing that. And then she showed the questions that she got from a reporter who is
Oops, sorry.
it's okay. Who is about to do an interview asking her if she has funded Hamas or given any money to Hamas, like because she believes that Palestinians have a right to live and breathe. That makes her a terrorist in their book. It's just
piece of shit.
Yeah.
God bless Rachel.
Miss Rachel. Yeah.
Miss Rachel. She's amazing.
She really is.
Before I forget his name, and thank you, Justin, send it over to me. Appreciate it. His name is Tom B. Wild ESQ on Instagram. Tom B. Wild ESQ.
All right. I'm going to have to look him up. Right. That's good. That was a good song. I like it. All right. We actually covered quite a bit tonight. There was a lot to cover. What we did not cover is the climate disaster that continues. They are doing, they're having their big COP30 in Brazil right now. I think they destroyed 10,000 acres of trees. Is that what I read? I'm going to have, don't quote me on that, but to make room for all the private jets flying in to talk about climate disaster.
Perfect.
Man, it just feels like a never ending assault, right? Like it's just nonstop. But
how many days has it been since Luigi? Because I feel like the gap between Luigi's got to get closer. We got to speed up between Luigi's, and that's the only way they're going to listen to us at this point.
I agree. I kind of think that's the only, it certainly isn't, you know, the, what is it? No Kings parades. That does Zippo. Yeah. Luigi actually got some shit done.
Yes. And we need to, his court stuff's starting to come into play here. We need to start brainwashing everybody that he didn't do it. He probably did. I don't care, but we need to teach them that they are allowed to let him off regardless. So
yeah, I don't think
he
did it. I don't think he did it, or if he did it, he did in self-defense. Or because those fucking CEOs of United Healthcare and all the health insurance industries should be labeled terrorists and get them for the crimes we know they committed, but also the pre-crime.
Yeah.
Right?
The beauty about jury nullification is you don't need to give a reason. You just need to let him go.
Yeah.
Let him go. Send a message. Let him go.
Jury nullification. Definitely. So kudos to these protesters, indigenous people in Brazil who, you know, the video we're showing is a little more gentle, but they ended up breaking in with their clubs and injuring some of the worst people in the world who are destroying our planet.
Is my little violin.
That's right.
Let's go.
Cheers to them. Cheers to all of you guys. We'll see you tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Pacific. Love you guys. Keep punching up.
I'm